At 19, Maya Hartley had already developed a reputation in her small Arizona town. Stubborn, brilliant, and fearless, especially when it came to machines. Her late father, a former army mechanic, had left behind a rusted tank engine he once used as a teaching tool. It sat in their workshop like a sleeping beast, covered in dust and forgotten memories. Most people believed it was beyond repair, a relic too damaged to ever run again. But Maya saw something else entirely, one last connection to her father, one final lesson waiting to be unlocked. Every afternoon after her college classes, she walked straight to the dim workshop behind her house. Sunlight leaked in through cracked windows, casting warm strips across the concrete floor. The engine waited in silence, heavy and intimidating. Maya tied her dark hair into a bun, slipped on her gloves, and began where she'd left off, prying open panels, cleaning valves, checking ancient wiring. The smell of oil clung to her clothes, but she didn't mind. She remembered her father's voice guiding her. Patience first, precision next. Respect the machine and it will respect you back. Weeks passed, and the townspeople noticed her long hours in the workshop. Some shook their heads, calling it a waste of time. "That engine hasn't run in 20 years, they'd say. "Her father couldn't revive it. What makes her think she can?" Things like that never discouraged Maya. They only fueled her determination. Each bolt she loosened, each part she restored, carried a piece of her father's memory, and deep inside, she believed she could finish what he never had the chance to complete. Her heart refused to let the old machine die. One evening, as a storm rolled across the sky, Maya made her biggest breakthrough. After hours of studying her father's old notebooks, she discovered a calibration flaw he had repeatedly failed to solve. Her hands trembled as she adjusted the timing shafts, aligned the pistons, and rewired the ignition port. Rain hammered the workshop roof, thunder rumbling like distant artillery fire, but she barely noticed. All she could think about was her father leaning over her shoulder years ago, whispering, "If you're stuck, trust your instincts." And so she did. When the storm finally settled, Maya stepped back, breath unsteady. She wiped sweat from her brow, staring at the engine with a mix of fear and pride. This was the moment she'd been working toward for months. She connected the external power source, double-checking her rebuilt circuitry. The air felt different, charged, expectant. She hesitated only a second before pressing the ignition switch. The engine coughed violently, sputtering like an animal pulled from a long sleep. Her heart pounded. Another cough, a rumble. Then, suddenly, the beast awakened. The engine roared to life, shaking the entire workshop. Dust lifted from the rafters, metal vibrated, and Maya staggered back in disbelief. A tear slipped down her cheek before she could stop it. She had done it. Something even seasoned mechanics had failed to accomplish. For a moment she simply stood there, overwhelmed, until she realized she needed proof. She grabbed her phone, recording the thunderous machine, shouting into the microphone, "Dad, I did it! I actually did it!" Her voice cracked with emotion, swallowed by the engine's powerful rhythm. News spread through the town faster than Maya expected. By morning, neighbors gathered outside her workshop, curious and wide-eyed. Old veterans who remembered her father arrived with pride shining in their eyes. Mechanics from local garages asked to see her work, whispering in astonishment as she explained her modifications. The mayor stopped by, stunned that a 19-year-old college student had revived a military-grade engine no one believed could ever function again. Maya wasn't trying to impress anyone, but the impact of her achievement was undeniable. Later that afternoon, a retired army engineer named Colonel Bridges visited after hearing rumors. When he saw the running engine, he inspected Maya's work carefully, tracing the restored components with experienced eyes. "Your father taught you well," he finally said, "but what you did here, this goes beyond skill. This is innovation." He asked if she had ever considered applying for a military engineering scholarship. Maya blinked in surprise. No one had ever suggested such a path to her before. But when she thought of her father's uniform hanging in her closet, something inside her stirred. Bridges handed her a business card and said, "There are places where young minds like yours are desperately needed. You brought something back to life that even seasoned teams couldn't fix. That kind of mind changes the future." Maya held the card gently, unsure how to respond. Her heart still belonged to the workshop, to memories of her father teaching her how to grip a wrench. But now, she realized, the skills he'd passed on were guiding her somewhere far bigger than their small town. That evening, as the sun dipped behind the mountains, Maya sat alone in the workshop, listening to the ticking of the cooling engine. She smiled softly, imagining her father sitting across from her, boots crossed, arms folded, pride glowing in his eyes. "You'd laugh if you saw all this," she whispered. "Everyone's acting like I performed a miracle." She gently rested her hand on the engine. "But really, Dad, it was both of us." The quiet space felt warmer, as if the memory of him were sitting right beside her. Over the next weeks, reporters came to interview her. Engineering professors requested permission to review her schematics. Even online communities shared her video, calling her the girl who brought a beast back to life. She remained humble, answering questions carefully, always crediting her father's teachings. The praise never distracted her. Her focus stayed rooted in what mattered, honoring the man who raised her and proving to herself she was capable of greatness. She didn't need fame. She just needed purpose. When Maya finally applied for the military engineering program Colonel Bridges recommended, she did it not to impress the world, but to carry forward her father's legacy. Her acceptance letter arrived 2 months later, sealed with an emblem her father would have recognized instantly. She opened it with trembling hands, tears filling her eyes as she read the words offering her a full scholarship and a chance to work on advanced machinery. It felt like destiny, like the engine had opened a door she didn't know she was allowed to walk through. Before leaving for the academy, Maya visited the workshop one last time. The engine sat silent now, cooled and resting, but to her it felt alive, like a guardian, a mentor, a final gift from her father. She placed her palm on the cool metal, whispering, "Thank you." Then she locked the workshop, carrying with her not just her father's tools, but his belief that she could do anything she was willing to fight for. Her journey began with an impossible machine and ended with the entire world watching, speechless.